I'm alive.
Može.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lion Pride. My guest today and the episode for me very special because our guest tonight, the 2024 110 kilo left and right champion of the world,
Both hands.
RINO. MASIC. Everybody, please applause.
Thank you for
RINO,
having me.
RINO, you look.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. You look very sharp. You look what is this jawline, brother? You shaved off your beard to
Yeah, I look younger, skinnier, and I don't know, maybe a little bit less intimidating to some people, but yeah.
you want to feel 19 still. So tomorrow when you turn 20, you don't feel so old.
Yes, exactly. 20 years sounds a little bit too serious to me right now. But later, probably I'm going to be saying, oh my God, I wish I was 20.
Yeah,
So
man.
I'm gonna enjoy it as much as I can.
What you do at 20 years old, I don't know that a lot of people can say that for themselves, but man, I want to say that the whole Balkan is really proud of you. You showed an amazing performance, and I don't want to say. Beside, we have a lot of top athletes in sports, but I think you should be there with the top athletes in the whole Balkan. Really, we're just proud of you, man. You
Thank you
showed
so
you showed heart. You showed that hard work pays off, man. And I don't know, unbelievable performance. We will talk about it a little bit. My first question is, after your last match on the right arm, you touched your elbow. Everything all right?
As of right now, it's all right. I still have some pain that I need to attend to. You know, I have to recover it properly. And I even went today to get a massage and to kind of hopefully fix my tendon issues a little bit. I might have some case of like the tennis elbow, you know. So I hope it's not. I hope my tendon is not injured in any kind of serious way, but I guess time will tell. And it wasn't just after the first match, you know, I'm sorry, the last match of the finals. It was actually right after the first match with Ljubo that I had. I immediately felt a sharp pain, you know, in my elbow, and I was scared that I wasn't going to be able to perform as well as I wanted to. And yeah, it all worked out pretty well. But you know, my wrist flexion was severely affected, and that's when I went like when I was going to fight against Efe. I was terrified that he was going to take my wrist, but I kind of had to compensate with some other things. But
Mhm.
it went well.
No, against Efe on both arms, you looked much better than in Europeans, in my
Yes,
opinion. Much, much. I don't know if it was the setup or what you thought about it, what you
yes.
will do. Yeah,
It
but
was set up uh, kind of lane. The lane that I attacked was
mhm.
different. I was faster. I was better, more aware of everything. So it was a combination of all of those things.
Like I said, everything looked pretty much easy for you. Couple of matches that were hard, and my question is, in of course on the right arm, the first match with Sandris looked much harder than the second one, but
Yeah.
what was your hardest match? On left first, and then on the right.
Of course, the left one was with Benjamin in the finals. Um, when we were setting up in the referee's grip, I immediately felt when they put the strap on us, I immediately felt that I wasn't really in the ideal position that I wanted to be in. And then as soon as they started to close our hands, and I realized that if I wanted to complain to the referees, I would get a foul, you know. And I was like, yeah, you know, like, fuck it, I'm gonna go with the grip that I have right now. And yeah, I was immediately aware that I was going to have to lose my wrist, and it's going to be a little bit of a war. But I knew that I was going to be in control of the match the whole time, just because my side pressure, my bicep, and everything is generally stronger than Benjamin's, except my wrist. And yeah, the match went as it did, and I was able to pin him. A little bit, as you said, more difficult match than the others, but it was pretty good as well. But on the right hand, definitely the finals of the A class. So there are A and B classes.
Yeah.
The finals, me and Sandris, was definitely the hardest match on the right hand, and I wasn't so sure that I was going to win. Especially when I did that first foul, I was very careful to not make another foul, and I was kind of trying to stay away from my shoulder a little bit more. And as soon as he started nodding his head like this at me, I was like, "Fuck!" You know, he's gonna pin me really fast or gonna top roll me or something. But he didn't do that. I think that kind of actually went more in my favor because he was a little bit too cocky, and I was able to kind of be more calm and present in the match. And as when he went to the transition to a press, then I got him.
I asked you privately, left match finals. You went in and you couldn't like blast through him. He stopped you, and it looked for me. I rewatched the match today also, and he felt really comfortable there for a moment, and then you
Yeah.
readjusted a little bit, pushed inside, and got your shoulder in a little bit, and then pressed again. But I asked you if he would start to blast, you know, if it would make a difference, and you said no. Why do you think that?
I think it wouldn't have made a difference just because I was in such a good position that his back pressure could not possibly go through my side pressure lock, through my shoulder lock. It would just tire him out. He would not be doing anything. I mean, if he went for a surge, he would just do this. It would be just like a wall. So if I was in his position, I would try to reposition my shoulder more inside and pull me even more further away from myself. So I wasn't so tight. Maybe so I was like this, you know. And if I was in this position, it would be way, way different and much more harder. So that would probably be something better to do than, you know, try to surge through my strongest point, you know.
But you pretty much finished him not in like a usual position like you always finished. You were like this, and you pressed him down like this.
Yeah.
Is this a lot? I mean, it was a final, you know, it was over, but it is tending for your elbow. It's hard on your elbow, or not so
It
much.
would have been hard for sure if I had some previous injuries on my left hand.
Okay.
But my left hand is so healthy, it's unbelievably healthy that I felt absolutely nothing. And I was actually amazed after the match. I was like, is this even like what is going on? You know, it's so I don't feel any pain. I mean, my left is a lot healthier just because I don't have any like hard matches on my left like I did on my right with, let's say, Baccio and the other guys. I always went into, you know, a hook or inside battle that kind of has a toll on my tendons, and they get kind of worn out after a long time.
Man, I saw a lot of matches. You finished without the strap, with the flop press.
Yeah,
Your fingers got stronger.
I
Um,
would say so. Maybe my setup was a little bit better, but yeah.
um, a couple of questions in terms of your training method, because we saw, and for all pressing guys like hook pressers, flop pressers, um, you will sooner or later land in the position that you landed with Sandris or with Lubo also in the
Yeah.
hook, and then it's a completely different story. For me, I find it difficult, and I work on it a lot now. This when you were in the hook and you were pulling back with the biceps with the lat, and this pressure down is a lot hard on the elbow.
Yeah.
How do you condition that in the training? I mean,
That's a good question, and that's something that you have to for sure condition, and it takes time. Of course, you can't really rush that,
yeah.
especially because it's such an awkward angle that if you push it too much, you can get injured and other stuff that you don't want. So what I do usually is I do my side pressure exercises from a same height that I do my back pressure, so it's quite low on the pulley. And I just do this kind of motion sideways with my wrist completely supinated, and I have a judo belt going kind of diagonally through my hand like this. So I don't have any pressure applied on my wrist, and it doesn't get tired for exercises that I have after that side pressure exercise. And yeah, I just do the movement like in a full range, and even sometimes I do this, and then I transition to push with my tricep, and I found that that really conditions my elbows really well. And I started even doing that same exercise with progressive overload. So now I'm doing with percentages, and I have a 1 rep max and everything. And I found that it's very, very useful, and your elbows do get used to that kind of pressure, and it's much easier. But for a beginner starting off, definitely do it more in a conditioning way where you do more reps with less weight until you get kind of used to that pressure.
I'm sorry, I just saw Pavle texted in the comments that because I put the live stream on unlisted yesterday, and somehow it still was unlisted. I think it's public now. He said it was just accessible through the link. Now it should be good.
Okay, good, good. You should
uh,
mod Pavle. He should be your mod.
Pavle, brother, thank you very much, my friend. Now it's good. Now it's good. Pavle, legend. Um, I really, really, really put a lot of focus on press and inside game on my right arm because left is the elbow was hurt very bad, and I feel now the difference when I pull with some guys that I pulled long time ago. When I try to top roll them, it's maybe still the same, maybe not. I feel that I don't know if you had that trouble. Just this question. I don't want to make it personal about me. When I pull, because of table time and stuff, I feel that this part here, like it's not working, but I had a really bad pain, and I hammer curled like 4 kgs, and it was really hurting. When I do this curls like this, also I
Yeah,
feel this balance that the right arm is much weaker, and top roll is just I stopped doing anything that has this motion, just like light bands and stuff to recover it. But inside developed a lot with all the exercises that you told me and that I was figuring out also that helped me a lot. Wrist flexion, containment, supination from the front, also sideways, holding also and stuff. But like I said, the one problem was bam if somebody stops me, and then it will probably be a hook, or if he drags me back and then I have to stop him here. The same scenario that happened with you and Sandris happens a lot in training with good hook guys that have good connection with their back forearm and biceps and can stop the press here. My question is, because you have a very good understanding when to flop press and when to hook press. How do you decide what to do?
If I'm trying to flash pin someone with a press and they go into a hook, then that's when I will usually transition into a flop press and just slip out. Or if we are in a strap, the guy that's hooking will be in a top roll position without his shoulder, because you commit to to pushing his center away, and he will be in a hook, and then you transition into a flop and he has to do this,
Mm-hmm.
and he'll be in a very awkward position where all the pressure is on his bicep and back pressure, and from that position you can tire him out a lot more easily. When I want to do a hook and then transition into a press, it's more when I'm purely just going into a hook. When I decide, okay, I'm going to hook this guy, then I go into hook and I get into a very good position. Then I kind of use my body and my shoulder to turn them even more inside and then just push them like this. So, but you can do it as well. You can transition to a flop press from basically any position. So you're in a top roll and you just flop press, and then you can even from a hook you can come behind your shoulder and just flop press. So flop press is a good way to exit any kind of or get away from any kind of nasty position that you might be in, and get a good restart on the match and maybe rethink your approach.
Mm-hmm. I see. What did you expect going into the competition? Did you expect to win on both arms? Or, I mean, of course, you will expect for yourself to win, but what was your expectation?
My expectations on the left hand were really good. I expected the left hand to go as it did, but the right hand, I was very, very nervous. I wasn't so sure, because the same morning that we had the right hand competition, I had some issues with my stomach and with my digestion, and I even had a little bit of a fever, and then I had to, stay in bed for a little bit longer than usual, and I just wasn't feeling very well. I even had a headache, and I was worried that that might negatively affect my thinking or my performance on the table, my focus, but it really didn't. I was feeling very, very nauseous, like I was sick when I was off the table, but as soon as I came to the table, like everything disappeared. It was just like white noise around me, and I was laser focused, and it happened like this. It's like somebody flips a switch instantly. It's weird. That's something that I developed over the years, I guess, and you can't hear or see anything else except you and that arm and these two referees, and that's all.
But that's great, man. Everybody has this focus in their jobs. I see this as your not job, but your main thing in your life. For example, me working as a waiter, I can also just like shut down and focus in one path. Matt Mask, for example, he also said that he is a completely different person when he comes to the table. He just
Yeah.
he's like, and everybody has like their
Their own way of kind
way,
of
yeah,
focusing.
yeah. And you approaching the focus way shows results, very good results. um
And
Man,
it's even interesting. Sorry for
no.
interrupting, but it's very interesting. I don't have any reaction. I don't know if you noticed that. I don't have any reaction before the match, after the match ends.
Yes.
Nothing. There's like literally no reaction, except maybe in the finals when I
Yeah.
kind of relax a little bit more. But usually I don't like to react. I just like to keep it all internalized. While of course some people, even Sandris, like to scream a lot, and that kind
Yeah.
of gets on people's nerves. I've heard from a lot of people that sometimes when somebody's yelling and saying some stupid stuff, they get angry with them, but everybody has their own thing, and it helps them out one way or another. Those guys can't stay quiet, we can't be loud, and that's kind of our thing to decide.
You can control your emotions, brother. But this is a difficult task for a lot of people, and you're only 19 years old and can control your emotions. This is in this situations, and if you can control it in these situations, it will be easy for you to control it in other life situations.
Yeah. True.
In the comments, we have Nemanja Grujic from Serbia asking about your match with Ljubo Krstic in the Worlds, and how did his arm feel in his hand?
Ljubo's hand felt good. I don't know. Didn't find his grip, terribly like uncomfortable. But when I went into a press, I kind of my elbow went off the pad of the side of the pad,
Yes.
and I couldn't really go in for a press. It just kind of uncomfortable. I was in an uncomfortable position where he would have definitely stopped my initial surge, and then we would end up in a hook. So I had to change something up, especially in the top roll. His wrist felt very good. When I went into slip, he kind of grabbed my hand, and my rising fell very fast downwards like this. And I think I even kind of hurt my wrist a little bit because of that, and then had to rethink everything. He has a very, very good wrist control, very good wrist, and he even showed that against some guys like the Kazakh puller on the right hand. He top rolled him like with no problem. And inside it was a little bit different. I felt some resistance when I went downwards, but I think that Ljubo can definitely improve if he just changes a little bit of the angle that he pulls at. Most of his pressure was going just like directly downwards into my elbow. Nothing was going really into my arm and my bicep and nothing like that. I mean, it's mostly because I angled myself in such a way that he couldn't do that, but he was as well just pulling like this with side pressure.
Yes.
So Ljubo is great. The only thing like would be just changing up a little bit of the angle and maybe just being a little bit more calm on the table, calm down and assess the situation. Otherwise, he's great, really amazing puller.
You see him in matches, because in Serbia, I don't know if he has problems with anybody. And then when I watched him at Europeans also, when he has trouble with people, like you said, he starts like moving a lot and like trying to pull with his whole body, and you open him a lot he opens himself a lot by this movement, and you just stayed compact and calm, and didn't allow yourself to get open that much. You think that this is a style that he pulls in, or you think this is just a reaction of him not kind of getting through you so easily?
I think it's something that he did before and worked, and now he's trying something that he knows that usually works, and now it doesn't work. I think it isn't really a reaction to someone stopping him. I think that's just how he usually pulls, and he needs maybe a little bit more time to kind of, because when you shake like that much, you risk making fouls that you might not make usually when you stay a little bit more calm. And when you constantly try to pin your opponent as fast as possible, you can end up, as you said, in some like weird positions that you usually wouldn't want to be in, and you can stay very far away from your hand. Maybe you should be more close instead of being so far away. And again, having a cold and focused mind is very important. And if he improves that, he will definitely improve on the table as well.
Before going to the next question about your upcoming match, we are going to Swiss Open to destroy, brother. We are going with intentions. Will you be there?
No, unfortunately, I will not.
We are going having 3 categories, I think. 3, 85, 95 seniors, and 85, 95 amateurs, and women's, I think, if Magdalena goes. So we want to go to leave a mark, maybe in a
Yeah, yeah.
positive way, and then yeah.
That's soon. That's like in 2 weeks, right?
Yes. Um,
Devon's gonna be there, apparently.
yeah, yeah,
That's going
yeah.
to be
Devon,
interesting.
Devon is gonna be there, and it's like not far away from us here. It's like 4.5, 5 hours with the car. We want to go like one day before to go to weigh-ins and go eat something,
That's a
rest,
good,
and then yeah,
nice field trip for
yeah, man.
everybody.
In Switzerland, I never went to Switzerland. Switzerland is beautiful. I always wanted to go, and this
Yeah,
is like on the border with with Austria, and also like the most beautiful part of Austria, also where there's like mountains and like pure nature. I'm very excited because um, I discussed it also with the coach and everything, and I'm like going into 1.5 years of experience in the sport, and rather than going to seniors to get my ass kicked, I decided
yeah,
to go to amateurs to have a lot of matches, a lot of experience, and to have experience with the referees also. But what I find interesting is that in last competition, people really didn't know how to set up against the press. I top rode also in 2 matches, and 3 or 4 I pressed. I'm wrestling the right one. Um, but I see even more in seniors that people, um, not on the world level, but in Europeans, I also saw it, that people cannot don't know how to set up against the press, don't push center that much, or maybe they're scared of the arm, or if the pressure is explosive and stuff. Um, what do you think about that in general, and people on the bigger level, in Europeans also, um scared, or maybe, I don't know, don't know how to set
yeah,
up.
yeah, for sure, dude. That's like even at the top of our sport, people don't know how to set up correctly against not only press but other as well techniques. I see it everywhere that people are not versatile, and I think that's the issue. If you were versatile enough that you knew how to press, how to hook, how to top roll, how to do the other techniques that branch off of those three main ones, I think that you will be able to like more deeply understand what you don't like when you're going in that certain technique that your opponent is going in, and then how to counter that. So being versatile allows you to kind of know what your opponent's like kryptonite is, how to you can counter him. And I see that all over, even at the world level. Believe me, world level is not a lot different when it comes to techniques, setup, or something mindset. The only difference is strength. That's the
Mhm.
only difference that like world level Europeans and nationals and East versus West have. You can see it all over the place. I mean, there are now a few guys that are very versatile, but again, it's the list is very short. You can count them like on your fingers, the guys that are like very versatile.
Mhm.
So to learn that, you have to be again versatile, to know what you doesn't suit you in that position, and then doing exactly that against your opponent, that's doing that technique, like the press, as you said, pushing the center even if you don't feel comfortable. You have to do that, and it will
Yeah,
definitely work. Even if you push it a little bit and he pushes through, it will do something. It will distract him a little bit, it will put him in a more uncomfortable position. So you have to have some balls, to
yeah,
do
man.
something like that.
Even the elbow placement, what they because I know you're not a lover of like table times, but you also told me that in the beginning you have to do a lot of table time to discover some new things. And what I saw is the elbow placement. When I know somebody is gonna press on the left, for example, and I know I don't have an insight to really push center, but when I put my elbow on the tip, how should I say it? Left arm on the right tip of the
Corner.
pad and push.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he pushes me, and I'm then in the center, and then I can do something, you know. And just the elbow placement plays a
Yeah.
big role. I think it's crazy,
Yeah,
man.
you can definitely discover things that kind of suit you better or something like that. As well as you said, elbow placement, hand and wrist, placement as well,
Mhm.
finger placement, everything. Even applying a little bit of pressure, which I kind of do. I started doing that recently, and that paid off a lot. Just being uncomfortable for your opponent is very, very good. So when I go for a press and I know somebody's a good inside puller, I usually push the center a little bit like this and towards myself. So it's something like diagonally pulling towards my shoulder, but I don't push it so the referees have to constantly get the center back.
Mhm.
It's just that he feels it in his hand and he's like, oh, dude, what is this? This is uncomfortable. Am I going to be able to push through this even? So the little things really do matter. And any edge that you can get over your opponent is the one that you should take and will maybe help you to win.
Thank you for the lessons, brother. Every time I'm listening, pulling it in and applying it every time, and every time I see growth. Also, watching your videos, your training videos are awesome, and I think one of the best technique videos and explanations on whole of YouTube you can find. These videos are great. Um, Two questions from comments. First question to me, I'm not 85 kg, brother. I'm almost 100 kg. So
Don't
maybe it's the
insult
legs.
him. Don't insult him.
Brother, Neil Pickup also told I'm 85, but then I showed him my legs and he was like, okay, now I see. I started doing legs also recently because of knees. My knees felt like strange a little bit. And the second thing is, Rino, do you think arm wrestling is a healthy sport? Pozdrav s Korčule. Rino Zvijer. Čestitke. Thank you,
Pozdrav,
brother.
pozdrav. Hvala,
Marko,
hvala
pozdrav,
na
brother.
pitanju. So I do think, actually, no, I don't think arm wrestling is a healthy sport at all. I don't think any sport is healthy if you take it to the extreme of being the best.
Yeah.
And that's just facts, the most healthiest sports like running and everything, they are good for your cardiovascular health and I don't know, whatever health there is. If you take it to the extreme and you really want to be the best, there's no way that you're going to be healthy in any way, shape, or form. If you want to do arm wrestling even like recreationally, I don't know if it's going to be terribly healthy because you're always going to encounter people who, especially at that lower level, you're going to like encounter a lot of people that are going to try to prove themselves to everyone around you or even to you, and they're going to pull like crazy. You're going to be in some pain. So no, I don't think arm wrestling is a healthy sport. And if you have any other like choices to choose from, if you want to do it something recreationally, do something else.
If you want to
I
be
know that
healthy,
sounds
don't arm
bad.
wrestle.
That sounds like I'm trying to push people away from arm wrestling. Arm wrestling is awesome, but I just have to state facts. It's generally, I mean, it's not an unhealthy sport. You won't get sick from doing this, but I mean, you will be in some kind of pain. So it's not healthy, but it's not unhealthy.
Um, One more question from the comments. Nemanja Grujic again, and then we'll
Manja,
go to your
fine.
upcoming match. What Reno thinks about the riser strength? Because one of his last videos, he did some riser exercises, and I think after the Mazurenko Matushenko match, I'm not sure, and I don't see it from the thing. He started to push more wrist and hand. What do you think about the riser? Or he's still doing almost the same exercises like before?
Yes, I'm almost doing the same exercises, and I think the riser is quite important. But Again, not as important as these three main muscle groups: the bicep, brachioradialis, and your wrist. But yeah, I would definitely recommend everyone to do rising. And the only issue for me that I saw is that I got to a limit very fast. My rising kind of went uphill in strength very, very fast, and then it stopped. And it's been like that for the past year. So I've been doing something similar to the Devon Larratt lift, but on the table where it's a little bit more isolated and it doesn't put so much pressure on my back pressure. But like 45 kilos is the max, and it's not going up anywhere, and I've noticed that even if you push these high weights, you do get some pain in your wrist here and in these tendons as well. So rising strength is important, but if you don't have back pressure to back it up, it's practically useless. It's even worse for pronation. Pronation relies on back pressure even more than rising. So both are important, especially in that top level where you need just 1 or 2% to be better than your opponent. That's when rising and pronation really come, and shine in the match. But if the difference is more than 10%, there's like who has the stronger bicep or back pressure or wrist flexion usually takes the match.
You said isolated. You put some belt to hold your arm, and then you
Yes.
do. That's how I did it also. It's very great, man. You don't when I feel pain in the brachioradialis, I do it like this. But like you said, if you don't have the back pressure to back it up, it doesn't worth nothing, man.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
feel that not only back pressure like this, I started doing also a lot of back pressure.
Pulling motion kind of.
Yeah, man. Back pressure here, back pressure here, and back pressure here. And I do those three. I have a pulling system at home, and I do this at home. And then when I go to the gym, I do different stuff also. Um, RINO, November, East versus West, big match.
Yeah,
Sagov, he had recently a match against Sandris in a hook, in a similar situation that you and Sandris were now at the Worlds. Um, do you think you can take something out of it? And how do you expect the match going?
of course, I'm hoping for the victory, especially because all of my parents and everybody's, coming with me. So I have to prove
Oh,
myself,
nice.
and yeah, my whole family's, and a few of my friends as well are coming over to watch it live. And man, I really do hope that I pull out the victory. And um, I think the best thing for me is going to probably be the fact that Sagov like doesn't have that great of an endurance. At least that's what I kind of noticed. Um, I think his endurance is a little bit worse than mine, and I think as long as I can kind of contest that center and force the match in a hook, I think half of the job is already done, and then it all comes to repositioning, and it all matters as well. I mean, it all depends on my like elbow conditioning and how my elbow feels as well. But again, I'm hoping for the victory. I really like respect Ibrahim. We talked a little bit, at least tried to,
Yeah.
because I don't know Russian. He doesn't know English, but he's a great guy, and I respect him a lot. And I just hope like a good, clean match is going to be between us. And of course, I'm going to have to warn the referees constantly for his shoulders. I do notice that he likes to carve in a lot, and even when I watched his recent matches in AMC, he always does this before the goal, like this slow motion, like this, and then he's
Mm.
already in a press. So keeping a good eye on that and all of those little things matter. And my setup as well will be interesting to see how I'll be able to set up against him. And we'll see. Of course, I'm hoping for the victory.
Um, I think it's going to be a hook war. It's going to be crazy. We saw his match, like I said, with Sandris, starting to turn around. We talked about it in Istanbul, starting to turn around at the last rounds. And I thought that Sanders is going to turn it around, and then he turned it around again. It was a crazy match, but I think Sanders doesn't have the pushing center ability that you have in your press also and everything. So I think, like you said, if you contest the center and take his center,
Yeah,
it will
I
be
think
easier for him.
Sanders messed up because he went 2 rounds in a row into a top roll.
You told
That's
me
what
this, yeah.
got him kind of tired out as well. And then he's slower than me as well at the very start of the match. I noticed as well. He's quite slow. We'll see. Ibrahim doesn't seem terribly fast, but recently in some of the matches, as I said in AMC, he's seemed a little bit faster. So yeah, I think if I go right from the beginning into a hook and force the match inside and get him away from his shoulder, I think the match is probably the odds are more into my favor.
Very excited. I'm for sure gonna be there. Excited to watch it, to root you up, to support you, and to meet your family, man. I'm really
Yeah.
really excited. I mean, your dad. I met your dad a lot of times. I arm wrestled your dad also. Had the
Yeah,
pleasure
yeah.
to. Still didn't have the pleasure to arm wrestle you. To maybe feel
Yeah, we'll do
something
that
this year.
too. Yeah, we don't need a table. We don't need the arm wrestling table. We can do that
Yeah.
anywhere. Maybe I can come over sometime. You know that Coach Ray is coming to Croatia.
Oh, I didn't know. Really.
Yeah, I mean he's planning to, but maybe we'll make some video. That'll be pretty cool.
That's
And
great,
maybe
man.
I can come to Austria sometime.
100%, brother. Whenever you want, just hook me up a little bit earlier so I can
Yeah,
manage
yeah,
it with the work. It will be great. We can show you around a little bit, have a great workout,
of
quality
course.
time with quality people, man. It will be great. Maybe, I don't know. But I don't know where the king of the table will be. It
It'll
will
be probably in Poland. Poland.
Poland is canceled 100%.
Oh, really?
Now they talked about to move it to Germany, to the beer garden. And Devon yesterday posted a video talking about it, but Devon always mixes up things. He said king of the table in Dubai. So maybe, I don't know, maybe they definitely couldn't arrange it in Europe and then moved it back to Dubai, but I don't know. But if it's in Germany, Devon and Odin would also visit us to not to really train, but I wanted to show them around. I have some pretty cool spots I want to show them, especially for Devon. Some from the Second World War, some like bunkers and stuff.
Monuments and some
Very
stuff. Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, very interesting. Some stuffs that are not like common for tourists. That I like just saw a couple of months ago with my wife. Was great. Um, uh, I want to go back to the last East versus West that happened in US and ask you, were you surprised with the greatest of all time and his performance? Or you expected something more or something less?
I expected it to be a little bit harder for him, honestly. The match, it was hard as is,
Mhm.
but amazing performance. Really, it was a joy to watch. Honestly, it was like food for my eyes. Just I was mesmerized by the match, and it was amazing, really, and incredible what he can do still at that age. And I guess once you learn that and that muscle memory gets in your head, that doesn't ever leave. And especially if you're in a match and you're in similar situations, he has so much experience. I'm going to segue off a little bit, but experience. I saw a lot of people talking about experience and like one of the guys that came up in the conversation was Mario Barbosa, or am I saying his name right?
Marcio. Yeah.
Marcio, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people were constantly mentioning his experience. And I was like, okay, he has a lot of experience, but does he use that experience effectively? And when I saw he had a match with someone, I can't remember right now who it was, but he was constantly doing the same thing and losing. And where is that experience? I ask people, where is that experience? I don't see it anywhere. You can have all the experience in the world, but if you don't apply it, it's like you don't have any. It's like you are arm wrestling for the first time ever. So
Yes, man.
John really showed experience that is usable, and that he used, and that he, when he learned it, he improved and changed something. And that's something amazing, and that's something that people should strive towards, is to, when you gain experience, to use it. Don't just say, oh, I know what this guy's gonna pull, and then you lose like 3 times in the same way without like changing anything. That's not experience. You can arm wrestle for 100 years, but you're not as experienced as someone who arm wrestles for 5 years and uses that experience more than you do. So that match was incredible. Leonidas was as well great. I think people don't talk about him as much, which is understandable, but he's as well amazing. And I'm so glad that someone like him is in our sport. He's pushing us forward as well, like Larry did some time ago. And I just hope the best for him. He has a bright future in arm wrestling if he just continues to improve as he already does.
He trains very smart, and then he does some crazy stuff to just lift weights. I mean, you saw the videos, but it's his style. He's just a strong guy, and he wants to show his power also online in his persona. Um, I listened to you talking about the John, man, and what was in my head is a guy from Portugal that was just a little boy playing football, and now considered as the greatest football player of all time. Do you think when the time comes that you will be considered as one of the greatest of all times because you started pretty much very young to show some great accomplishments, and I think you're on the right path to do so. And also Devon himself said this. What I got goosebumps a little bit, brother.
Yeah.
What do you think about it, man? How do you see yourself?
Well, I mean, that would be amazing, and that would be kind of my life achievement, to leave a mark on this earth or on a community where I, helped people improve in any way, shape, or form, or get them more informed, and just getting all of the information that I have out to people for free, because I can relate to a lot of people that are just starting off, like when I was starting off as well. I was trying to find information about arm wrestling, how to train properly, and I maybe didn't have the funds to be able to pay a professional coach or something like that. And just helping people is what I love to do, and being considered the greatest of all time would be something incredible and crazy. I can't even imagine that, but even just being in the conversation is already for me an achievement that I have achieved my goal, and I'm very happy with that. For some people to even consider that is just incredible to me. I never thought I was going to achieve such greatness, let's say, but yeah, it's all possible just by a ton of hard work and belief. When all else is lost, belief is what gets us through tough times, and that's what you got to keep in mind always. Just believe in yourself no matter what.
Beautiful words, man. Beautiful words. I didn't want to interrupt you. I had so much stuff I wanted to say in between, but you know, we have a guy, he's 20 years old in our club now, and I love him as my brother. But he, with no work, I train 10 times more than him. He is cutting weight. He's 75 kilos now, and he's so strong. This is crazy. And he's a talent. And I tell him all the time, I don't know if you can say it, but he is, say it like this, but he is like he's made for arm wrestling, you know? He's so
Yeah,
good. And he doesn't even train. He works, he sleeps 4 hours, 5 hours. He smokes, brother. He doesn't care. And I always sit down with him and try to, you know,
convince
talk it
him.
in his head. Yeah, man. To He comes to trainings, he trains, but all he loves to do is, you know, arm wrestle. And this is the stuff he does. But I see that he has potential to be crazy great, you know. And then I think about you. You're younger than him and so big accomplishments. This is unbelievable. Also, Auden, when you think about him, he's your age, and he has also good accomplishments and good matches now also coming up, and he's super strong, but not even in the conversation when you talk about yourself. And I think if you keep not even keep just to stay on the lane you are now, and not just stay there where you are, I don't think nobody can ever say something like, do not mention you in the conversation as the greatest of all time in like 30 years or 20 or even 10 years. So
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
I think we're blessed to be in this time, not only because of you, because everything that happens in the sport, to see the sport come to another level, you know, and then and grow. And yeah, man, I hope one day all the great people on the stage that compete can go home and wake up tomorrow knowing that they're just gonna go train and try to be better in the sport and not think about working, you know,
Yeah,
to
yeah, for
be
sure.
a full-time arm wrestler. What we see from Vitali now and progressing, and a lot of other people. One more match. We're starting to get emotional here, brother. What is this? um, One more match that surprised me, and I sure know that surprised you also, is Jerry against Aleksa Kracunovic. Did you expect the match to go that way?
I didn't expect it to be that easy for Jerry to beat Alex. I kind of knew that Alex is going to lose, but for him to lose that badly, never would have expected that in like never. It's just Alex has no internal pressure that challenged anything that Jerry threw at him. Jerry was free to do as he pleases, you know, get into that flop wrist position and just completely destroyed him. The East versus West title, like NA Vengeance, perfect title.
Yeah, man.
Literally, the US guys, most of them destroyed us Europeans, man. We got destroyed. We got smoked. But yeah, yeah. So it was a little bit, you know, unexpected for him to lose that badly again. But that just shows you that no matter how big you are or how big your hand is, whatever, you know, styles do make matches, but it's all in the head. You know, you have to be right in the head, and I think that, you know, if I would have gotten a match with Jerry, I think it would be like I think it would be relatively easy, you know, because I know what Jerry pulls, I know how he pulls, and I can't figure out why people are having so much issues with him. You know, it's is he really that uncomfortable at the start of the match? Is he really that strong? It's so hard for me, you know, because I never pulled with him. I saw him in real life, and he does look big, but I saw his, you know, training and everything, and it doesn't look refined at all. It just looks like he's lifting weights, just like doing something from the top of his head that he thinks, oh, this would probably be good for arm wrestling. That's how I feel like it. And I mean, he made a great career from that move that people obviously have a bunch of issues with. And I think that it would be relatively easy to counter if you just like put a little bit of effort into thinking about how you should do it. Alex, from what I saw, there was not a single moment where he went into the offense. He was constantly defensive. Started the match, oh, defensive, or I never saw him do this and then this happened.
Yes.
It was all this immediately lose. So he lost the center, he lost center battle, he lost the mental battle, everything. All of the talk that he was talking just blew in the wind. It was just kind of pointless, honestly. So again, props to Jerry for making it this far with that technique. The only guy that cracked the code was Hermes. Again, relatively easy and simple, but it's amazing to me that he beat Gennady when Gennady was like really, really good. That's what really shocked me. I couldn't believe it, honestly, that he beat Gennady. And yeah, we'll see with Levon. Dude, if he beats Levon, I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm serious.
Brother, imagine.
Imagine Jerry being considered like the strongest guy on the planet with his fucking flop wrist press shit that he does. It's just unimaginable to me. Honestly, it hurts my head even like thinking about that possibility that might happen.
No, I don't think it's I
I
don't
don't
know. I would love to see a good match, but I don't know, man. I cannot I cannot see it in my head that Levan is losing to him.
No, me neither. I think if Levan literally went into a hook just to stop his press a little bit and then do this with his arm, like this, not even with his body, with this, he would absolutely kill him. I just hope he doesn't like gas out like Svetkov did as well. He beat Svetkov. He beat Svetkov when he was like really, really good. Again, amazing. Hats off to him for pushing this far. Honestly, I have no idea how people didn't figure out the code yet, but I usually never had issues with the guys that went into flop wrist press. Never, never, never. It's like maybe with Kamil, only with Kamil, only with him. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah,
Camille thinks he beats him. I asked Camille. Camille told me he thinks he beats him, and he also said he doesn't understand his training method and what he is doing. And I mean, nobody does, but
I think Kamil would actually kind of be a good match with him. He might even beat him because he's faster. When you go against a presser, what you usually want to do, especially if the guy is just going to flop wrist press, is just push the center right here in the middle of his palm. You don't even need to push it that hard, just a little bit. And you want to tell me that the guy, that the people at the top of our sport that are supposed to be ambassadors of our sport, present our sport in all its glory, don't know how to do that. Like what? How don't you know how to do this?
my friend, Monster Michael Todd. We talked about his comeback I think on the first podcast here. And he's back, man. And he looks good.
Incredible. He looks incredible, honestly. I think it was a very impressive match with Kamil. Honestly, the way that he stopped him, great job, epic. But I think you can't really. It's hard for me to say that he put in any effort when it comes to like really like pulling him or keeping him.
You think
keeping
it's the
him
lock?
static. I hate to say that because I know that Michael keeps saying that it's not like that. It's not the lock. It's more than this, but it really doesn't look like it. because if he was putting any effort into keeping his arm like this and keeping Kamil's, press, his bicep would tear off again for sure, or something would. I'm telling you, something would break again. The tendons cannot hold that much pressure. It must be some kind of lock, you know, lock right here, and that's it. He just lays down and changes the angle a little bit, but still, it doesn't matter. It's arm wrestling. I mean, it's all in the frame of the rules. It's all allowed, and the way that he pressed Kamil at the very end was very impressive. Very good performance, and I'm glad for Michael. He had a rough time, in his life right now, the past year, and I wish all the best for him, of course. But we'll see how he does against the big guys. The other big guys that can pull maybe more things that only press. Now he's supposed to have a match with Gennady. Gennady was actually in Moldova right now at the World Championships. Yeah, and we talked a little
I
bit. We
saw the
joked
photo with
around.
you, yeah.
Yeah. He's a funny guy, and I don't know if he'll be ready for Michael. Honestly, I think this injury really screwed his arm up a lot. He doesn't look as strong as he did before. I'm not saying anything, but I'm not sure. I think Michael might take this match against him.
This was like the puzzles for Devon were matched perfectly. Maybe the puzzles are matching perfectly for Michael to really
Probably,
get the shot to
probably.
face Devon in the future. And I
I think.
think
Sorry for stopping you,
no, no,
but I
no, no,
think
no. Say.
you know what's interesting. I think that now, if Michael went against, let's say, Ongarbayev, I think he would absolutely kill Ongarbayev. Absolutely kill Ongarbayev. And it's hard for me to say that Michael has progressed because of his training. His training is, how I am with training. I am
Yeah.
literally allergic to what he does. When I see that, I'm like, oof, I can't watch that, dude. It's like it hurts me just watching it. So it's hard for me to say that he progressed with that kind of training, but obviously he's better. So, it must be doing something.
He looks also massive. He looks
Yeah.
huge. He looks huge. We have a lot of questions from the comments. Thomas Quevedo. Yo, Rino. Just a second. Yo, Rino. I got fourth place in the 85 kilo supermatch Italy 2023. Remember you trained with my elastic band.
Oh my God.
Do you having small hands? I've had two inflammations the wrist. He has two inflammations. Any recommendations in his wrist? What he can do from due to tendonitis?
I'm sorry if I can't remember you from your name. I'm very bad with names, but thank you for letting me use your rubber band to warm up. uh, if I saw a picture of you, I would probably recognize you. But you have inflammation, you said. I mean, icing, or going for putting something cold on the inflammation would probably help you recover faster and getting some blood flow as well. But in general, when you have inflammation, you don't want to really put too much blood flow. It's already full of blood, that's why it's inflamed. That's why I want to cool it down. So definitely using some ice or ice packs, anything cold will help you a lot.
You saw those videos with the guys that have like this thing
Yeah,
here
with
in the
the
wrist.
yeah, and they put take a hammer and
Brother,
hit
I
it.
had it. I had it on the left wrist, and I went playing soccer, and a guy kicked the ball. We switched who was the keeper, and he hit me in the wrist like this, and it went away. It went away, bro, and I never had
Magic,
problems
magic.
with it. So I don't know what this thing is. I went to massage. The masseuse told me also that it's some defensive thing from your
Joint.
tendons in the wrist, that they put something out so you don't have so much mobility until the wrist heals. But I don't know.
Interesting.
Everything good, no problems from then. Nemanja Grujic again, internal rotation with the rolling handle, from the center above, like Kaji and Kajimura does it, and Alan Zulaev. What do you think about it? I find he found this exercise helping him a lot in the last years of training.
Yeah. That's a good exercise. I think it's like a compound movement. You know, it involves a lot of different muscles at once. But I think if you really want to optimize that and you know, be the strongest that you can in that certain like motion, I think you should you know, kind of dissect everything and have everything individually. If you want to have you know, with the rolling wrist or with the rolling handle, you should have it isolated and only do with that rolling handle. And if you want to have this internal rotation, you should have it at a certain angle with a judo belt, and you know, do this turning motion like so, so it doesn't put a lot of pressure on your wrist. And I think that's like going to elevate that exercise even more than it is right now, because you know, if you're doing this kind of rotation, your wrist might be limiting the amount of weight that you can lift with your inside, or your inside pressure is limiting your wrist. So kind of, you know, dissecting it and having everything individually and isolated is, in my opinion, better.
I did this exercise, and what I found difficult, not difficult, but after some heavier weight, this when I roll and go like this, the handle pulls in this direction, and then it slips out of my hand out, you know, because
Yeah.
you twist and then you turn in, and then it pulls in this direction, and then it twists from this, you know, thumb thing off of your hand, and that's why I not stopped doing it really, but done it like isolated, like you said.
Yeah.
It was like, for me, it was like I cannot do so much weight because it slips out of my hand the whole time.
Yeah, it's not a bad exercise at all. I did it for a while, but again, having these things separate, way better. Way better. You can focus on that muscle and that movement a lot more than having like 50 other things you know, applied to that one movement that you want to strengthen.
Dini V2 asks, what do you think about the hammer curls with the loading pin, judo belt, and leaning with the elbow on your leg, you know, to do like this?
I think it's not bad, especially if you don't have a like pulley system on the table. I think it's not bad, but kind of I would always advise you to try to find some alternative to have static exercises for your back pressure and your biceps. I think static lifts are the most important in arm wrestling for these big muscle groups, like for the biceps and back pressure. For your wrist, you can always have something dynamic because the wrist is always active like this in a match. But having as well pulling motions, not bad at all. It's a very good addition to kind of make you a better, more whole or rounded up arm wrestler. But yeah, those exercises, that exercise from your knee or from your leg, if you're holding it with a loading pin, is perfectly fine. I would just try to angle myself more downwards, so I would always have pressure when I'm lifting, not like this. So I have pressure now on my hand, and now it's all on my shoulder, you know. So angling more towards the ground will always keep the pressure down on your hand.
Thank you for the explanation, Rino. When I talked about this exercise, one guy came to my mind that not really does it with leaning with the elbow, but standing with the belt, and that's Ustinov. Brother, you saw his performance at the Worlds. It was crazy, man. The 75 kilo. He was first at the right arm. I don't know if you remember from Europeans, Petrus, the Greek guy, our friend,
Yeah.
arm wrestled this Georgian guy, and Christo. They were the top three. And now at Worlds, Petros wasn't there because of elbow injuries, and Ustinov won the first place. The Georgian guy was second, and the third was Hristo. Hristo coming to podcast next week. First, the podcast
Nice,
with the
nice.
referee. I have so many questions for this guy.
Yeah. Just don't kill him,
Um,
with these situational questions. That's I think he will hate that. But yeah,
no personal questions for some athletes. I don't want to put him on the spot. Ustinov, brother, the Georgian guy was a flop presser. He he's so explosive back with the top roll. He pulled him back and he looked at him and made some angry face. He was like, bam, bam, like hitting side. Super strong guy. And he shows, and he, Irakli, you, a lot of people show me from time to time how important this back pressure hammer left
yeah.
really
Back
is.
pressure and
Yeah.
biceps are involved in every technique, so you have to have that. Even if you're doing flop press, it's involved. So those are, I tell you, I always tell people those are the three main components. You have to have that strong, and then everything else comes, second.
Rino, we're coming to an end, and I want to implement a segment in every end of every podcast. It's called Dream Matchup Series. And of course,
Yeah.
the dream matchups will be with West side guys, some interesting matches that people can comment about and discuss if you're right or if you're maybe not right of winning
Yeah.
or losing these matches. And the first match that I wanted to ask you is in current shapes, all guys. What do you think? How you would match up with the GOAT, John Brasink, now?
Good question. Honestly, I don't think I would have. I don't know. It's hard. I don't think I would have too much issues with John. I think my inside game might be stronger than John, honestly. I'm faster than him as well, but it's very tough for me to say. Again, his hand control might be a big issue for me, as I always, lose my wrist. In current shape, right now, if I went there, I would lose definitely. But if I was just a little bit more healthier on my right hand, I think the match would be more equal. So, I don't know. He's lighter than me as well. I think I would, in my opinion, I think I would win against John.
Would you consider this match in the future, maybe? I mean,
Sure, it would be an honor. I wouldn't even think about it. I would just say yes immediately.
Would be a great match. Great match.
Yeah.
Uh,
The only
generation
thing would,
against old generation.
yeah. And I mean, the only thing would be, weight class. Which weight class would I have to cut a lot of weight? If weight class was not a issue, then it would be all right.
I think John was pretty big against Leonidas. I don't know how much weight, but I think he was for sure 110, 115 kilos. I don't think
110.
I'm sure that he was not below 110, 100%, because he cut down to 95 East versus West 10. Brother, he looked at the face like he's dead. So I don't
Yeah.
think, and his head looked very big. I think he was for sure 110, maybe 115. So I think you're not that heavier than him.
Yeah. Didn't know that.
Second match, the master of exercises, the guy who is putting the focus on the training and the angles and everything, and then the guy who is considered the most conspiracy guy in the workout department, Mr. Monster Michael Todd. How do you think would you match up with Michael, man?
God, that would be a tough match. Very tough.
And a long match, I think.
Oh, that I wouldn't bet on myself to win, but yeah, I think I might be able to pull off a win, but it would take every ounce of my energy to do so. And I would have to really think, really be focused in the match to switch up stuff because funny enough, I've been actually training to counter King's move. So, I came up with some interesting stuff that I could use against King's movers, but of course, it's all been with guys that are a lot weaker than Michael and a lot less experienced in using a King's move than Michael. So I don't know how that would go, but again, it would be a very hard match, very very difficult.
Crazy match, which you never know might happen also in the future. But I think
Yeah,
Michael is going to super heavyweights. But you
yeah.
never know.
We
You
might
never
we
know.
might meet. I hope that we do before Michael, has his I wouldn't say last match, but before he has his peak shape,
Hmm.
decline. I hope we have one match before that.
This is not the third guy, but the guy who also had recently, Matt Mask. He plans to stay in 115 kg class, so maybe you meet him.
Who had Matt Mask? Who was it?
No, no, no. Matt talked about it with me that he doesn't want to go to super heavyweights. He wants to stay at 115 kg.
No,
So maybe you meet him
I don't
also
think
in
I'll
the
have
future.
any problems with Matt.
Mm, mm, mm. Me.
Uh, no disrespect to Matt, but I just think there's wouldn't be any issues with him.
And the last question, which you maybe also expect to be conspiracy theories incoming. You against 105 kg version of No Limits Devon Larratt at the moment, which we saw against Shane Shaw. Were you surprised? Were you not surprised? And how you see your match going with Devon right now, man?
I think if Devon was 105 kilos and I was 115 still, I think I would have a good shot at beating him. I was kind of surprised that Chance was able to, put up that much of a fight with him. Um, I expected, some kind of a fight at least, but I thought because I thought that Chance was going to fight for hand control, and that's why I thought like Devon is going to win easily, but it seems like Chance kind of changed things up, which is very smart. And he went more inside, and he pushed with his shoulders and whatnot. He tried to take center, and he did really really well. So that's what surprised me, and yeah, I think that me against Devon, if my hand was just a little bit more healthy, I think I would be able to beat him at this current moment. Again, it wouldn't be as easy, but I definitely think I have better chances at beating him than like Michael right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You think he takes your wrist? You have to flop.
Probably yes, but I it's hard. I would probably try to go inside and then he would pull away and then I would transition to a flop. I would save the flop till the very last moment so I can just get that, little bit more push to get him down to the pad. I would try
Not
to
give the
press
wrist straight away.
regularly and then let my wrist go very, very slowly so I can, get as much push as I can from that flop wrist press.
um Devon with the king's move and stuff he does, and not all the time, not all the time. We saw it against Georgie. We saw it against who we saw. He the thing he lacks the most is holding center.
Center. Yeah.
I mean, he gives it also to get the risk taken, but do you think he gives it, or he knows that he will lose it and he loses the center to go down and try to bend the wrist back of the opponent and bleed him out, and his thing.
It's tough to say, honestly. I'm not 100% sure. I would say that it's like a mix of both. He thinks he gives it somewhat and somewhat he doesn't. It's very tough from that kind of position if you're trying to. I think he actually just loses it. I think he doesn't give it away. I just kind of imagine him arm wrestling in my head right now, and it seems like he doesn't give it away. What he does is this pulling backwards, pulling, and here is where he attacks your wrist, and this is where he starts losing it. I don't think he does this, literally pulling away, because that would give a huge advantage to his opponent. So I think he always loses his center, and it's actually to be expected from that position. I think rarely anyone can keep their center if they were pulling in a similar style like Devon does. So I think that would be something that would be beneficial for me if we were in a match. But yeah, he used to have good center. I remember the old days when Devon, he was primarily a hook puller. He always went inside, always. And after that surgery, something got, I guess, like messed up, and he had to switch up. And I think that's the day that his, center game was never the same.
But do you see him still, not in the first round, but in the later rounds when he, the endurance from the other athletes goes down, and or something gives in a little bit, he goes and he holds against Gennady. Was a crazy position, man. He was like this, and Gennady pushed in his arm. I was like, is it gonna break or what is this?
Yeah.
Pushed like this, crazy positions. But also now with Chain's Shaw, you saw it. Chance wanted to go. He caught him here and just turned in like this, and then went forward. So I don't know. His side pressure is holding when he engages the shoulder with everybody to hold and not get bust out. But here, I don't think even that he wants to hold center. So
yeah, most likely, yes. I think he's focusing only on rising pronation and back pressure just to take your wrist. He doesn't care about center. And what you were saying about him going inside, and pulling a hook and contesting people's center, I think he has that really, really good if he wants to. But the issue is most of the times I think he gets tired out way faster in a hook. Yes. Just because his bicep is not as strong as other people's, especially when he was in the upper classes, like you said, against Gennady, and Gennady was able to, even press through that kind of position. But he definitely got tired out. You rarely see Devon tired, and that's definitely one of the matches where he really got gassed out because he was going inside, where the level was, here. As soon as the level is here, doesn't matter who you are, you're going to get tired, as soon as the gap is like this, there's no way this guy's getting tired from you pulling in any style, so that's why I think he might be avoiding the inside game.
One last question from the comments. Marco Music.
Marco Music, I know this guy.
do you take steroids, and what do you think about steroids in arm wrestling?
I can't believe you asked this, Marco. How can you ask this? No, I don't use steroids. I'm always competing in drug-tested events, and I'm always at the risk of being tested randomly. The doping control can come in to my house, knock in 3 in the morning, and I have to take the test. So I'm not using any kind of performance-enhancing drugs. And what I think about steroids in arm wrestling, I think it's fine if people use it at the very top of our sport. Everybody's using it. The playing field is leveled. If you want to use it, you can use it. If you don't, it's up to you. But when it comes to using it at like world championships, Europeans, or national championships, where the rest of the people are not using it, and that's basically cheating.
Yeah.
I'm not okay with that, and I think that the punishment should be quite strict. You know, you getting a 4-year ban is fine. Okay, and of course it depends on what they find in your system. But I think the next ban that you get should be a life ban immediately, because you're so disrespectful to the rest of the athletes. They put in hours and hours of work, and they go through pain, through all of these things to get to this level. And I mean, you take steroids and you don't feel any pain. You can train a lot less effectively, because anything you do with when you're on steroids, it's going to be effective to, you know, get you stronger. And it's just disrespectful, and I think you should not be allowed to pull in those events ever again.
And now comes my last question. Will you ever use steroids if you were to be in super heavyweight division in the future and maybe fighting for the #1 spot overall?
Yeah. Um, as of things are right now, I have great benefits from not using steroids, from competing in world championships, Europeans. My country provides me with certain rewards if I finish first. So if only for the first place, and this is what I make a living from. You know, I can say now that I am earning enough from arm wrestling as a student. I can live from arm wrestling, which I'm very happy, and I don't need to work, you know, seasonally. I don't need to work when it's summer, and as long as this stands, as long as I have financial support from my country for arm wrestling, I'm not even like thinking about using steroids at all. Um, the funny thing is that I get more financial support from my country for getting one gold that I have ever gotten from any other events. So no, as of right now, I'm not planning on using any steroids. I haven't even thought about that. I mean, I have thought about like scenarios in my head of what benefits I could have had if I did use steroids, like less pain, because I'm constantly in some kind of pain. And yeah, but eventually, if it comes to it, if I'm like, if when I'm older, I might use some steroids maybe to you know, help me with some chronic issues that I'm most likely going to have after like you know, 30 years of arm wrestling.
Are you considered BPC?
What is that exactly?
This is some of the guys at my club used it. It's for used for recovery. It's also with a needle, and you put it in the spot where it hurts, and the BPC like
Recovers your tendons.
yes, but it's banned. It's also anabolic. So I think I'm sure that it's not allowed at WAF, but
Yeah.
but it helped a teammate of mine. Not so great how we expected it, but brother, this was crazy, bro. They bought it, and um, one day we sit here. It was cold outside. We also done ice bath also this day, and and one guy is like working in the medicine, and he was like, "I'm gonna give it to everyone who needs it." And he took it himself, and he gave it to our coach David. Brother, 5 minutes. David, brother, what's up with you? He turns around, bro. Everywhere, like spots in his face, like allergic reaction.
Oh no.
I thought he's going to die, bro. And I was like, fast, you have to go to the hospital. And they're like going to hospital. He's like, he's scared a little bit. I would kill Dennis. So he was so scared, and he was like, oh my God. And okay, but he still was calm, but also a little bit scared, of course. And then in the end, nothing happened. He also tried it the second time. He thought the injection was somehow not good. They didn't inject it good, but then you inject it under the skin and then you rub it, to spread it.
Yeah, to spread around. Yeah.
But it was not for him. He got an allergic reaction second time also here on the shoulders, and he didn't use it. But yeah, it's something that a lot of people use in sports, and I also heard in powerlifting when they tear a muscle, they use it. It's something like
Stem
stem
cells.
cells, but for
Yeah,
poor
but less
people.
effective for poor people. Yes, for common folk.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, I saw something about like this Wolverine recovery.
this is exactly that, I think.
Yeah, yeah. So no, I mean whatever is again bannable. I wasn't planning on doing that or using it anytime soon. I'm gonna try therapies and whatever it takes just to avoid, I want to see the natural limit where it is
Yes.
and where it stands right now. Of course, my natural limit. I'm not like a ambassador for whole humanity to see where the limit is, but I want to see where my limit is, and I think everything is starting to slow down, and I don't want to admit it, but I think that I'm slowly starting to reach that limit, which sucks, but I'm going to try to push through as much as I can.
But still, you haven't reached the limit.
Yeah.
You challenge Devon for a match, and if you win, you take his nickname, No Limits.
No limit. Yeah,
That's
but
it.
it doesn't go well. RINO no limit much.
Brother, you don't have a nickname. What is
No,
this? You don't
they have
want
to
it
think
or
about something.
still
No, I'm going to let people give me a nickname. I don't want to give myself nickname. That's kind of stupid.
Reno the Destroyer?
Yeah, yeah.
No,
Uh,
I think the perfect guy for this is Neil, and eventually you will get it from Neil. He gives everybody a perfect like nickname. Like he said, everybody comes to me and like I want some crazy stuff like nails or tough or destroyer or something like this, and then
yeah,
he gives them something else. So, but I think he's perfect in what he does. I mean, I I don't know. This guy is so special. I talk about it all the time, and yeah, I'm looking forward to see him also again.
yeah,
But
yeah. Neil is a special guy. We're blessed to have him in arm wrestling for sure. There's not a guy. Jake is very, very, very good as well. I like Jake. Jake from Australia.
yeah,
Oh my God, I forgot his surname. Jesus. Jake, Aussie arm wrestler.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's great as well. Really, those two guys are the MCs of arm wrestling. They are carrying the sport like that when it comes to announcements and everything, which is very nice.
Reno the Rhino. That's the I think this is the first thing that everybody thinks about it when
Yeah,
they hear
yeah,
your name, but no Rhino, please. I mean, you go in like a rhino,
yeah, like
so
this head first.
at first, yeah. Freight train or something like this, like, but not so heavy. So something like short would be perfect because your
Yeah,
name also is not so long. Something short would be
so short
perfect.
and sweet, something like.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll see. We'll let time do its thing and people as well.
I have one. But Reno, the golden boy, because you're a golden man, you just win gold. This is
That's
from
not bad. That's
old
not bad.
kickboxing. It's not bad, but no, Neil will figure it out.
Yeah, yeah.
Reno, brother, as always, was a pleasure talking with you. Is informative. I think all people can learn a lot from watching your videos and you talk, and it's crazy that you're 20 years old and so much information is in the
Yeah.
internet for free from you. And I think we're blessed to have you. We're, like I said again, not just the Balkan, but your fans, everybody. I can speak in their name. We're proud of you that you did so great. And yeah, man,
Thank you so
pleasure.
much.
Thank you. And yeah, man, I hope I see you in the future. If not in the sooner future, I see you at November. Uh, I maybe come September to Croatia because I get 10 days free. So maybe we go with the family to somewhere,
Nice.
man. And then
Yeah,
maybe I
we'll talk
will.
about that.
Thank you, brother. And
Thank you.
yeah, guys, take care. Thank you everybody for tuning in. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Hvala ti, brate.